Hello, everybody. This is the Pay Me in Plane Tickets podcast. I'm your host, Jelani. And today we get to talk to Tyla Morris from Newport News, Virginia. She's been traveling since birth, since the womb, as she puts it. She's also traveled solo into many different locations. We discuss her favorite trips, worst trips, almost getting left behind on a cruise ship, and the infamous Yachtnik experience, amongst many other things. Let's dive in. Let's start first with this. What's your travel age?
Oh, so with my travel age, so technically I've been traveling my entire life. I've been
Okay.
traveling since I was in my mom's womb. When my mom got pregnant with me, everybody in Louisiana,
Yeah, I lost you there.
she took a trip.
Okay.
And then when I was born, she took me down there when I wasn't even a couple months. And I've been traveling domestically like that since I was a baby. So my
Wow.
travel age is my real age. Been traveling forever.
we'll say since the best years, it's basically been all every year you've been traveling, so that's good.
Yeah.
And with your family, can you recall a time, maybe a favorite trip you've been on, one that you sort of remembered, and then also a worst trip you're like, I'm never going back there again.
Okay, so family trips. So the favorite trip that I've been on with my mom, I was about 8 years old. We went to Ocho Rios, Jamaica. I can't remember if it was a cruise or if we flew straight there, but I was maybe like 8 or 10 years old and we climbed a waterfall. And
Oh
it was
wow.
just so much fun. Like, I'm very clumsy. So I was like falling down the waterfall, grabbing her, pulling her down with me, screaming, laughing. And it just was so much fun. And we were just so relaxed and having so much fun. And we actually have a photo from that trip where I don't
Wow.
know if we still have that picture, but I was just screaming, laughing, and I just was so illuminated in
Uh-huh.
the picture. And I just still remember that to this day. And then the worst trip I ever went on, I hate to say this, I hope they didn't hear this, but the worst trip I ever went on was with my cousin and her friends
Uh,
in 2020. We went on a cruise, and the cruise went to Belize and some other places, and the cruise ship almost left me.
oh
I
snap. No
almost
way, no
got
way.
left. I almost got left by the cruise ship for a number of reasons. It was just miscommunication between my cousin, who was like the leader of the group. She knew all the information. I wasn't really talking to her because I
Oh,
had an
I see.
attitude. I split up from the group,
Uh,
went off on my own. I didn't know when I was supposed to be back, and I almost got left in Belize. Bad, so bad.
oh man.
When you travel,
Mm.
you just get people's travel personalities. And I was like, I love y'all, but I'll never travel with y'all again.
Now here's the thing. I've never been on a cruise before. So I'm always interested in people who take cruises or who have taken cruises. So define to me like the cruise experience. Is it so unique from just traveling to one place and exploring it, or is it kind of like you get everything? You get to kind of mix and match the different islands or different locations you get to stop at. Is it your preferred way of traveling?
I wouldn't say it's my preferred way of traveling. No. I cruised a lot as a child, and then I went on a cruise as an adult, that one cruise that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But a cruise is like a floating city. I mean,
Mm.
everything that you want is on the cruise ship: gym,
All
casino,
in one.
restaurant. activities. It's all on the cruise ship. And then me being me, I go all inclusive when I cruise. So I get the drink package, the activities package. I don't have to worry about anything. And the cruise is very gluttonous. So you can eat all day, you can drink all day. And a lot of people don't like cruises because it's buffet style. So all the food is buffet style. Some cruises have like specialty restaurants where you can make a reservation and you can go sit down. That's very common, actually, if you don't want to eat buffet style. But you know, they have burger joints, fry joints, pizza, all the ice cream you can eat, and then you can go eat with the captain and the crew, and you have the captain's dinner, and you get dressed up, and it's just really nice. And so what happens is you're literally in the sea for maybe 1 to 2 days, and then you go into port. And when you're in port, they tell you this is X amount of time. Don't be like me. Actually know what time you need to go be back on the cruise ship. They tell you, okay, we're going to be here for 4 hours. Go explore, enjoy yourself, and then you can come back. But with cruises, you can knock a lot of countries off of your list.
I see. And yeah.
One cruise that I like secretly have my eye on. Haven't said this out loud, but
exclusive. It's an exclusive.
Yeah, I've had my eye on this since like college when I learned about it. Now there's different variations of it, but it's basically 166-day cruise, and you go to 35 countries.
Wow. So where is it traveling to?
I don't know. Yeah. I'm just like, find me out. Because when you think about going to 35 countries, if you calculate the airfare, train fare, Ubers, taxis, hotels, then you think about the hotels, the food. If you were to do all of that a la carte, there's no way the deal you would get going to a cruise. I mean,
wow, yeah, that is a lot. That is a lot. 35.
But I don't really like fast travel. So I feel like 166 days for 40 countries, that's not, I mean, that's about 3 days in each country. That's basically 3 days in each country.
Yeah, it's close.
Go. But with you being on the cruise, there's no way you could do 3 days in each country, because you remember you have to spend so much time at sea.
Right. Yeah, good point. Because I was going to think,
Yeah. So I mean, I personally, me being me, I just look at it. I just want to look at it. I don't do nothing. I'm just looking.
Look, all you need is the Instagram shot and a few little regular photos and maybe a drink, and you're good.
Yeah. So I like cruises. It's not my preferred way to travel, but if I'm trying to knock out a lot of countries, or if I want to do something cheap, fun, and quick, a cruise is a pretty good way to go.
Okay, I'm gonna take your advice, or heed your advice on that, because I've never tried a cruise.
Cruises are great for couples.
Okay.
Cruises are great for couples because there are other couples. This is a great way to meet.
I see. It's like the bonding.
You have so many activities. You don't get bored. It's just fun. Cruises are great for single people. Cruises are like, if you're a solo travel and you go on a cruise, you're going to make friends. So, perfect. I mean, I'm not, this is not a sponsored ad.
But she works for the Ritz-Carlton over here, guys.
I like a good cruise. I like a good cruise because those drinks are so good. The bartenders
really? I did not know this.
They say, what do you want? What are you trying to? Especially when you have the unlimited drink package, they just
that's a riot. Because isn't there like amusement parks, or like water rides and everything on there? Like I've seen some pictures and all
everything you want. And they just released, I think it's Royal Caribbean, they just released like the largest cruise ship in human history, and they're like, it literally looks like lasagna, everything they have, because it's just like layers upon layers upon layers of stuff to do. And it's just like, okay.
It's here. They got Broadway shows and everything.
Yes. They do.
We then discussed how many countries she has visited, and also, what was her first solo travel experience like?
I have visited a total of 17 countries.
Congrats. Jeez. You're up there. You're up there with the top of them.
I mean, compared to the people in our group, I'm still a
Yeah.
baby, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah. No, no,
pretty
yes,
well
yes,
for
yes.
myself.
I'm nothing. I thought I was something until I got into that group chat.
Yeah.
It's like I'm nobody. But okay, so obviously you've had the family trips, and so those are different types of travel. So when did you first take your solo travel? Do you know like that story?
Yes. I first took my solo travel when I started making quote unquote big girl money. Um, it was my first year out of college.
Mm,
I didn't get a quote unquote corporate job
okay.
until 3 years after college.
Okay.
My job history is not that exciting, but it is storied.
Okay.
So when I got out of college, I worked in the field. So
Okay.
what I got my degree in, I actually worked in the field, but I was like boots on the ground. I didn't have a
Oh,
cushy corporate job.
yeah.
So I was working in a distribution center as a manager straight out of
Understand.
college.
Yeah.
And the money was shit, but for somebody straight out of college, my family was like, this is a great opportunity. The money is so good. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's not. But I was living with my grandmother. I was only paying her $200 in rent. So the money
Okay.
was good because I
Yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
so much discretionary income.
Keep. Right.
I didn't have a car note. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
things were different back then. Where did all
It,
that
it could
go?
add up easier for you, yeah, in
Yeah,
that scenario.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was working at this job, giving it my all, and I look up and I had been there for 6 months and I hadn't taken a day off. So I was
Wow.
literally on the brink of burnout. And I go to HR and I'm like, hey, I've been here for 6 months. Like, nobody has talked to me about how to take vacation. Nobody has told me how many vacation days I have. Like, I need a day off. And she was like, well, yeah, you have what did she tell me? I was there for a year. She said I was there for a year. So I think I had like 10 days. She was like, yeah, you have 10 days off and you have to use them all by February because that's when the fiscal year started.
I see, I see.
She was like, you can roll 5 days over. Whatever you don't use, you lose. We won't pay you out. So, we encourage you to, use your days.
Mhm.
So by this point, it was November when I asked her this. So I was like, I
Go.
haven't used any days. Like, I haven't
Right.
had a day off. So I just literally drove home and I was thinking about this and I was like, I need some time off.
Yeah,
I
gotta
need so me being me, I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna take all my days. Take all my days. Because luckily where I work, you didn't accrue time. You got all your time up front. It wasn't work an hour, gain this many minutes. It wasn't
Gotcha.
any bullshit like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you signed up, here are your vacation days. Do what you want with them.
Mhm.
So I went home, got on Expedia, did some Google searches, called Expedia, did some research on Instagram. I'm the kind of person where I work very well in like long spurts. So this was probably like a Friday night. So I probably stayed up all night Friday, probably worked on it all day Saturday,
Okay.
probably worked on it all day Sunday. I didn't work Mondays. I only worked Tuesday through Friday.
Okay.
So probably just kind of chilled on it, rested on it on Monday. But when I went into the office on Tuesday, I told them, I was like, hey, I'm going to Thailand for a week and these are the dates. And they were like, oh, what? And I was like, yeah. And I told my family, I was like, hey, I took the time off from work. I'm going to Thailand. I booked the hotel. I booked the flight. And then they were like, oh, great. Who are you going with? And I was like, I'm going by myself. And
Oh wow.
this is like,
Uh-huh.
what? So
Now was going solo a natural decision or did you try to, rope people in and it just didn't work out?
it was a natural decision. I kind of was at a point in my life where I was working this job. I knew I shouldn't have been there. I knew I shouldn't have been at this job. I was living in this town that I knew I shouldn't have been in. It was my childhood town,
Mhm.
New Roads, Louisiana. I love it there, but I knew I shouldn't have been living there. It's good to visit.
Yeah.
Um, And I just knew I was in a place where I shouldn't be. And I was so young and I just was confused. And I just was like, I need some time to think and I don't want to
Gotcha.
do it here.
Makes
So
sense.
I had a conversation with my grandmother. I actually recorded it. I don't know where that video is, but I told her I was going to Thailand by myself. And my grandmother is a Creole woman, born and raised in Louisiana, spent the majority of her life in New Orleans. And I know she wanted to curse me out, but she didn't, surprisingly. She didn't. She
Okay.
stayed
Okay.
back. Um,
Grandmas are the true gangsters, by the way.
yeah, they are, especially mine. Especially mine. Mine are the truest of gangsters.
I hear you.
So I I knew nothing about nothing. The person I was then
Mm.
in that was in
Yeah, what year was this?
2017. That was in 2017 versus the person I am now in 2022 as a solo traveler. I mean, just down to the organization. My parents were like, okay, well, send us where you're going to be staying and what you're going to be doing. I literally just took screenshots of all of my receipts, put them in date order, and sent them to them like, oh, if anything happens to me, they'll know. I found that document from 2017 and was like, what is this? What is this mess? It was just complete and total mess. It was literally like hotel these days, plane this day. It was so, the organization was so bad. I was
It was
like,
the newbie.
I know they were freaking out. So that was my first solo trip. That
Okay.
started it all.
How was the Thailand experience as a solo traveler?
Thailand actually changed my life. Thailand,
Beautiful.
it was the catalyst of me beginning adulthood. That's what I would say. I learned a lot of stuff about myself in Thailand, and Thailand is so beautiful, especially for Black people, especially for Black women. I will say if you're a solo traveler and you want to go somewhere safe, cheap, have a good time, go to Thailand because it's all of those things.
Later in our discussion, we discussed how many trips she has taken solo and her experiences on those trips as well.
Technically, I've done 3 countries solo.
Okay, 3 countries. Which 3?
So I did Thailand, I did Tanzania, and I did Kenya. And if you, depending on who you are, you can consider Zanzibar a country. Some people consider Zanzibar city. Some people consider Zanzibar country, just depending on who you're talking to. So Zanzibar is in there too.
Okay, so 3 or 4 if we count Zanzibar as a solo. All right, perfect. At this point, we stayed on the continent of Africa and discussed how a dream trip to the Seychelles went horribly wrong. Now, I know you because we're in this big solo group chat. So shout out to Melissa.
Shout out to Melissa and Shelby.
Who set the whole thing up. How I got into the group chat, I can't really remember. I need to really go back into my head and figure that out. But I know you're from this group chat. I was in Cape Town. My phone is blowing up. You guys are always talking about something, but this one was a different blow up. It was like bing, 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 bing. I was like, wait a second. Something's happening here. And apparently there was a yacht trip called Yachtnik out in and it's the definition of when you thought it'd be all good, it ends up all bad.
What you pay for versus what you get.
And you were unfortunately on the wrong side of this experience that was supposed to happen. How did you first hear about Yachtnik? Because I'm assuming it was an amazing marketing plan they had there.
Yes, spot on. So I first heard about Yachtnik in 2021 when I was up late one night scrolling on Instagram. And I mean, I was just scrolling regularly. And I don't know if it popped up on my page. I don't know if somebody else posted it on their story. Gotcha. I don't know if it was a targeted ad. But somehow I literally stumbled headfirst into a rabbit hole of Yachtnik. And I was just so enticed by what it seemed to be. I mean, if you could close your eyes and think of what your dream trip is, if you just think of all the components, the location, the people, the music, if you just think of that, That's what Yachtnik was to me. That's what I thought it was going to be because, first of all, it was on the water. I'm a water sign, I'm a Cancer. Love anything dealing with water. Second of all, it was Black owned. I love to give my money to Black owned businesses. Third is Yachtnik, which is supposed to be a spin on Freaknik. So it's supposed to be nonstop parties, headline DJs. And then luxury. So I'm 28, I'll be 30 in 2 years. So I'm not saying that I'm trying to live this luxurious life, but it was slated as luxury for affordable young professionals.
Gotcha.
This is something that's within your reach because when you think of yacht in Africa, I'm thinking per person $30,000-$40,000. Like I'm thinking of something, completely unattainable. So when they say, hey, but for you can get the highest package for 3,200. You're like 3,200. I actually can do that. So that's how I came across it.
Okay.
And it was just completely downhill from there.
We then discussed if she noticed any red flags, anything alarming.
There were so many red flags. I mean, Jelani, there were so many red flags. When you decide you want to go on this Yachtnik trip, you are not greeted by the company Yachtnik. You're not greeted by the founder and sole employee, Jeremy Moore. You're not greeted by a website. You are greeted by a chaotic group me where you're thrown into the group me that says connect with us. And us is just a bunch of travelers who also want to go on this trip. And I had no idea. It was like 3 a.m. and I had no idea what was going on. So many people were talking. Everybody was from everywhere. And basically I said, hey, I'm new here. I want to go on this trip. I know nothing. The next thing I know, I woke up, I was in 3 more group me's for Yachtnik. And they all were like, this is the DMV Yachtnik. This is everybody from DMV that's going. This is the Seychelles Yachtnik. This is everybody who's interested in going to Seychelles. And this is the big Yachtnik. So this is the big main group. So I was like, okay, how does this work? What do I do? And they being random strangers, not Jeremy Moore, not a team of people, just random strangers.
Other participants.
Potential participants, people who had either gone before, participated before, or people who just wanted to go so badly that they had done their research and knew so much about it. So just everybody just saying everything. They basically were like, okay, you choose your location, which I already know was Seychelles. That's how I got put in the Seychelles group me. And then they say you choose which week you want to go. And for some reason, I wanted to go to week 1. Thank God I didn't go to week 1. That was such a blessing, which you'll understand why later in the story. Gotcha. And then I knew I wanted to have a luxury plus accommodation. So nobody really wanted all 3 of those things. So the girl was like, don't worry, you can create your own crew.
So in short, she's signing up for Yachtnik. She then gets split out into group me's, which is a WhatsApp alternative. Then she's in charge of building her own crew. On top of that, she has to make payments on a scheduled basis. And the whole crew has to make payments on a scheduled basis to keep some ownership or some rentership right of the particular yacht for the particular week, whether it be week 1, 2, 3, or 4.
So the first payment was due in September of 2021. So this was like July. So this was like July 2021, right? And she was like, you have a couple months to get your crew together and to find people who want to go. So I basically said, okay, I will build my own crew. We're doing week 1 Seychelles Luxury Plus. Let's do it. It's $3,200 a person. We can do it. So Jelani, I don't know if you're keeping up with the math here, but $3,200 a person, Luxury Plus, it's 12 people going for this one boat. So that means that one boat is $38,000.
Yeah, exactly. So for a Yachtnik experience set to take place in September of 2022, we have arrived at our first deposit in September of 2021. Things are moving, maybe a little bit hectically, but it's still moving. We were still discussing the logistics of this whole experience, such as, did you receive any payment confirmation for your first payment made of $3,800?
So the first deposit we make is a total of $3,800, $3,840. $3,840 via PayPal. We make this to the Yachtnik LLC through an invoice via PayPal.
Okay.
And Jeremy doesn't really give us a confirmation. He doesn't really give us anything that is contractual saying, okay, now you guys are slated to go on the trip. He's basically like, okay, just keep paying your money. You know,
Not
when
even like we received your payment from him directly. I know PayPal does it, but maybe
PayPal
yeah.
does it. Yeah, PayPal does it, but I never received anything from Jeremy. Like throughout this whole process, it was very flaky when it came to receiving confirmation of payments.
This led us into the next 3 payments that had to be made over the course of the year. View it as the last cash that had to be paid out before flying out in September of 2022, or net 60 days before September of 2022.
The next 3 payments are a total of $960 per person to be made over the course of the year. The last payment is going to be made 60 days prior to the trip, and you have basically 1 payment per quarter. So basically every 3 months you're making a payment.
You're making a payment. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so then when were you taking off for this trip?
So I was week 2. Okay, so let me tell you how I got to week 2. Remember I started week 1, right?
Yeah. Originally week 1.
Okay.
Get to week 2 now.
So when it came to make that third payment, the final payment to solidify, hey, we're going on this trip. This is it. Traveling with Black people, traveling with a large group, it can happen to anybody. Basically, it completely fell apart. This, like I will say, this, you know what? I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
Because the main reason our crew did fall apart is because of the lack of inconsistency and the lack of communication we received from Jeremy Moore. A lot of people in our group were so uncomfortable because they had already paid $2,200 and we had not received 1 email from Jeremy about anything of this trip.
I get it. So it's a lack of confidence at this point.
Yes,
people are starting to move.
It's a complete lack of confidence. And they're like, if we're going to get any money back, we need to pull out now.
This is all due to the lack of communication between the management and the Yachtnik paying participants. Tyla, who was originally a week 1 member, now has to transfer to a week 2 member due to her week 1 members falling out. They decided to cut bait. We discussed it. What was this transition like?
So I joined a new crew. So I'm with a completely new crew. So the people that I have been paying money with for almost a year, they were out of the picture. I was a completely new crew. Yeah. At this point, we were 60 days out from the trip. We were 60 to 90. 60
you're scrambling.
We were 60 to 90 days out from the trip. And it was eerily silent. Like the silence was deafening. Like by this point, I was concerned because, okay, I've paid you all my money. I've received 2 emails about this trip, and the emails have absolutely no information in it. Yeah. So I start speaking up, like, Jeremy, where's this? Jeremy, where's that? You know, people start speaking up and demanding more stuff. Yeah. And
it's time for the captain to speak.
Yes, basically. Yeah. And this is where things start to get malicious because week 1 is set to leave for Seychelles September 10th. Week 1 is set to leave for Seychelles September 10th. Week 2 is set to leave September 17th. So it's set up week 1 and week 2. The end of August, like right before week 1 is set to leave, and mind you, this is a lot of people's first time to Africa. Yeah, so, that's a good point. You know, they're visiting different countries. They're getting there early. Like me, I went on an entire East African tour. So I was in Africa 2 weeks before we even got to Seychelles.
So Tyla leaves for her own East African tour roughly 2 weeks prior to the Yachtnik party commencing. She's still not hearing much from Jeremy, and anything that she does hear, it's very troublesome. We got into that.
Yeah, I do remember we having that conversation. Yeah, you said, see, because you were there earlier doing your own trip, your own exploration, and you were going to end with the Yachtnik
Yes,
party.
exactly.
Got you.
Exactly. So Jeremy sends out this long slew of text messages.
And this is in August, by the way. This is in
Yes.
August. Got
Yes.
you. Right.
I was either already in Africa or I was like, I leave next week for Africa. It's very condensed. I have to look
Gotcha.
at it.
So Tyler was looking forward to experiencing what was advertised: a luxury yacht, a hostess, a welcome dinner, headline DJs, towels and bed linens, GPS and nautical charts, port fees, a Yachtnik gift bag. In addition, a food package, a brunch event, stereo speakers, Wi-Fi, yacht fuel and shore power, which is roped into the luxury yacht, and professional photography. Lastly, a professional skipper, drinks and bottles, all access pass to exclusive Yachtnik events, a final Yachtnik cleaning, yacht equipment, water taxis to get you to and from the dock, transfers to and from the airport, and a professional videographer. So at this point, Tyla is already in East Africa. She's readying herself for the Yachtnik experience with her week 2 group mates.
So you're in Africa. You're going through your own tour. Are you hearing the debacle that's going on with week 1?
Yes.
Oh,
I have terrible service in Africa. So I'm getting everything like a couple days late, like when I'm on Wi-Fi, but I'm just catching up on all the messages like,
oh snap.
Oh my God. So in our all-inclusive package, airport transfers were supposed to be included. Jeremy then said airport transfers are only for the people arriving the day of the event. Okay, that makes absolutely no sense because if I'm showing up to your event and I want to arrive a day early or want to arrive 2 days early, if you tell me you're going to transport me for the airport, why does it matter? But he said, no, we're only providing airport transfers for the people of the day of. Week 1 got no airport transfers at all. So for week 2, he was trying to save ass, but it was still terrible.
Yeah.
So I arrived a day early. And when I arrived a day early, week 1 was leaving. So they were having the week 1 departure party. So we went to go talk to week 1. We were like, okay, we can meet some of the week 1 people. So we went to this place called the Boardwalk, which is in the marina that we were catching the yachts from. Okay. And when I went there, I met up with one of the week 1 attendees who I had been speaking with for a couple of months. I had basically known her on a personal level at this point. She basically sat me down for 2 hours and told me everything.
Dang.
She told me everything. Everything that I didn't know, she told me and she caught me up to speed. So obviously I had a hotel because I got there a day early. So I had a hotel, got there a day early, talked to her. She told me everything. Now the next day, check out of the hotel, meet up with some more week 1 participants, week 2 participants. We go get lunch. We go to this quote unquote villa that Jeremy has rented for us to hang out in just for a couple of hours. And then we make our way to the marina because our yachts are supposed to be there at 6 p.m. So we're thinking, okay, we're only going to spend 3 hours here with our luggage. It's not too big of a deal. It'll be fine. We get there at 3 p.m. Personally, our yacht doesn't show up until 8 p.m. Whoa. The latest yacht doesn't show up until 11 p.m. Mind you, this is a group majority Black women, and we have each of us individually have thousands of dollars of cash on us.
That's not safe at all.
So we were literally just sitting ducks. And mind you, this place we were at had no idea we were coming. So just imagine 100 Black people just bombarding a restaurant with all their luggage. They were like, hey, what are y'all doing? Yeah. We're like, we're with Yachtnik. They were like, what is that? Yeah. So it was really stressful because you could tell they didn't want us there because they were trying to manage and run a business, and we were taking up all their space.
And they just dealt with week 1.
All their space. Yeah, we were taking up all their space. So we were literally stranded for like 6 to 8 hours that first day that we were there. And Jeremy, being Jeremy, says, when all the yachts get there, Jeremy says, Okay, all white party in an hour. Back at the place, we have been stranded for 8 hours. Do you think they want to see our face?
Nope, not even close.
We were like, we're not going to that. We're not going to this. Like, are you insane? We've literally been sitting there all day. Why would we want to go to an all white party tonight?
Question is, are you receiving these messages through text message or is he physically there?
Jeremy's physically in Seychelles with us.
Yeah.
But of course he's communicating with the whole group. So it's still now everything switched to WhatsApp. So now everything is in WhatsApp.
To summarize, there was no airport transport. They're packed in a restaurant for almost 8 hours. They can't locate the catamarans. And on top of that, the messaging that they're receiving from the Yachtnik management isn't very helpful. We then discussed if she received an itinerary to clear up any confusion.
There's no itinerary. Jeremy kind of just threw together an itinerary because we begged him for an itinerary before we left the US, and Yachtnik is always about these themes. We're supposed to have these themes.
Themed events,
parties.
I guess.
Yeah, themed events for the parties. So he gave us themes, he gave us itinerary, and people were kind of disappointed. Even when he said, they were like, "This is supposed to be Yachtnik," you know. So even when we got there, we're gonna be here for 7 days, and we only get 3 themed events. And I was trying to be optimistic. I was like, okay, only 3 of the events are themed, but we have 4 other parties, so we literally have a party each night. Like, we're gonna be partying, you know, like. I'm not really a party girl. Like, I don't even really drink, Jelani. Like, I'm a 2-drink kind of girl. Like, I don't even really drink.
So you're out.
So yeah, so I was just excited to be around the vibe, you know, just be on the scene. So I was making the most of the itinerary. Like, this is still going to be fun. We're still going out every night.
We then discussed that this confusion was an ongoing daily occurrence.
Every single day, we had to text Jeremy, what's the plan for today? Because he would switch the plan. And he would make plans and say, this is the plan for today, but I'm not providing y'all any transportation to where we're going. So, for example, Jeremy told us, he said, because Seychelles is premium and premier, and this is the inaugural event, we're doing something we've never done for any other route. We are building the cost of the events into your package. The cost of the events he's referring to are free events, Jelani. Free events.
Get out of here.
Free events sponsored by the Seychelles Hospitality and Tourism Board. Free events.
Playing that off as part of the whole experience.
Yes. And he would tell us, wear your wristband to get into these exclusive events just for Yachtnik. Other people were there who were not from Yachtnik. They were not exclusive events. They were free events that anybody could walk in.
I could walk in there right now.
You could walk in right now without a wristband and you would be fine. So
got you. And then so the other events, I'm assumed you figured out you had to pay for them.
They were free. Like if we went to the club, if we
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
It was
no
free.
Matter what, it was all free.
It was free. It was free. They were
use that to act a premium. I see.
Yeah. And the Seychelles Tourism Board of Hospitality was so excited to have 100, 200 Black Americans in Seychelles. They were like, let us pay for your dinner. Let us take you to the rum tour. Let us give you rum. So Jeremy said, you know what? Y'all are going to get a premium luxury alcohol package. Jeremy gave us 6 bottles of rum. My boat had 12 people. So what is 6 bottles of rum going to do?
Ain't gonna do nothing.
I don't even drink, and I was like, what is that gonna do?
For 7 days, that's not enough, man.
Right. 6 bottles of rum for 12 people. 1 bottle of rum was $24. Is that a luxury alcohol package?
No, not even close.
$24. And it was sponsored by Seychelles Tourism Board.
We then discussed if anybody, including herself, decided that they had enough and left.
Not on our trip. On week 1 that happened, but not on our trip. Everybody stayed the whole 7
They were like, I paid my money. I'll get whatever I can.
Mm-hmm.
Describe the boats.
The catamarans.
The catamarans. Were they these cruise ships you've mentioned earlier, or?
So, okay, before I even get into describing them,
Okay.
our skipper, because we were able to get a skipper, and I'm going to tell you the shicey things Jeremy did with the skipper too, but we were able to get a skipper, and our skipper told us, oh, this catamaran, it goes for $14,000 a week. Do you remember the number I told you earlier?
Yeah, 3,800.
38,000.
38,000. Yeah.
38,000. So Jeremy tripled the price. He highly inflated the price.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I understand that every business has overhead. I understand every business has, there's money that goes into running a business. But on this trip, it was apparent Jeremy spent no money on this venture. And Jeremy does not look at this as a business, because as a businessman,
but he did. It seems like he was trying to really turn a profit. 38,000 on 14 a week.
Yeah. So, and that's one boat. And
one boat, right?
There were several other boats.
It sounds like price gouging to me now. It doesn't even seem like price.
It's price gouging. It is price gouging. So the yachts were old. They were old. You could tell that these were kind of
worn,
lying around. It's kind of just whatever they had laying around. There was a sewage issue. I mean, you could, when somebody went to the bathroom, you could smell it. It was a sewage issue all throughout the boat. The skipper was supposed to be cleaning your bathroom every day because yachts just naturally have a smell. I don't think our skipper cleaned our boat once. They took the trash out, but I don't think they like scrubbed the toilets. They were roach infested. There were bugs on that boat. There were bugs.
Oh.
There were bugs. And then you were supposed to get bedding and towels. We got a top sheet, a flimsy, thin top sheet, and 2 towels for 2 people in one room.
Jeez.
Like, I literally got a rash from the towels.
Gosh. It sounds like a boat prison.
Yeah. It was nasty. It was nasty.
And what about the skippers who were acting as the captains of the catamarans?
So our skipper, Regis, was amazing. He has over 20 years of experience. He actually sailed from France to Africa on a 40-day voyage. So he knows what he's doing. So he sailed us at night, which is illegal. Because this is the thing about it. In Seychelles, first of all, Jeremy planned this trip during the rainy season, which is the most
that's a bummer.
Of the year. That's the most dangerous time of year to be on a yacht in Seychelles because of the monsoons.
Yeah. Typhoons coming
and very, very choppy water. So after 6 p.m., it's illegal to sail. Like, even if you go from here to here, like, even if you go a short distance at night, it's illegal. But because Jeremy was such a terrible planner and he couldn't curate the events, our skipper basically said, what do y'all want to do? And we told him, and he did it for us.
Gotcha. Almost like a courtesy or to kind of pick your spirits up.
Yes. And circling back to the skippers were supposed to get $2,000. Jeremy told us, he said, every boat needs to give me $1,040, $1,000, and $1,040 as a mandatory gratuity for the skipper. And if you don't give me this money, you won't have a skipper on your boat. Mandatory gratuity doesn't exist.
And I'm assuming you weren't even aware of paying for a skipper. You figured it was already roped in.
The skipper was supposed to already be included, but when he told us it wasn't included, and then we had to pay for them again.
Because you kind of need it.
Now he's saying, okay, I'll help you guys get a skipper, but give me the money and I'll give it to the skipper. So we were like, no.
You do better than that.
Yeah. We were like, oh, hell no.
Out of everything discussed, we then talked about what was the worst part of it all.
The most egregious thing that he did was he put the lives of hundreds of Black people in danger because he forged international documents to get us into the country of Seychelles.
Oh, wait a second. That's wild. That's ridiculously wild because anytime you travel somewhere international, they got to tell you, well, where are you going to stay? Where are you going to be? You know, you're not a citizen here. So we got to know just for our own tracking purposes.
Exactly. You know this. I know this. Everybody knows this. So, because most of the people on the trip are experienced travelers, we're trying to complete the travel authorization form 30 days in advance. Right. And we come to realize you can only complete the form 5 days prior to your travel. So we see it's like you have to provide proof that your accommodations are paid for. So we're like, Jeremy, are these yachts paid for? Because to enter into the country of Seychelles, they have to be paid for.
Right.
So Jeremy's like, yeah, I'll send y'all the documentation right now so you can get the authorization form filled out. Jeremy sent us free quotes, basically just saying that the yachts were on hold. And then we inadvertently submitted forged documentation to the country of Seychelles.
And have you heard that they're looking into this or no?
I told them about it.
You're like, what?
Responded to my email. It's giving malicious. It's giving malicious. It's giving malicious.
We then discussed what is life like now that she's back home. Any regrets?
What I can say is this. If I don't see a dime of that money, I'll be fine. The money is spent. I'm fortunate enough to where when I went on that trip, I went on the trip of spending, the intention of spending that money. Okay. So even though my money was misappropriated, misallocated, and I was, outrageously stolen from, a refund would be great. But if I don't get that money back, I was in a place to spend that money because that's a blessing. That's one of the blessings of travel, to be able to have the means to do so. So what I'm not okay with is if he continues to scam people. He has a very lucrative platform with 25,000 Instagram followers. He has the backing of the Black travel community, of the people who don't know the whispers. And he also has the affiliate partner of the Yacht Week. So people think he's credible. So if he continues to scam, that will keep me up at night. So that's why I will continue to speak on this, share my story, because I'm a hardworking Black woman. You put my life at risk. You put my livelihood at risk. Yeah. And to think you're going to do that again? If we were white, Jeremy would already be in jail. Yeah, so we're hoping to amplify the story and talk to anybody who will listen. But the main outcome that I would like to see from this is that Jeremy Moore never scams again, and he never operates any kind of business again.
Any advertisements for the next year's Yachtnik or anything?
Not from Yachtnik, but I have seen people asking, when are the 2023 dates? When are y'all releasing the 2023 dates? And I'm like, y'all don't want to go. baby, let me tap you on your shoulder. You don't want to go.
As we close our Yachtnik discussion, Tyla and I got to talk about her future travel plans, and I got to ask her some fun travel questions.
Do you have any trips for the remainder of this year to kind of make up for what happened?
No more international trips for this year. No more international trips until 2023. But I am just, traveling around Virginia, which I like to do a lot. I love going up to Richmond, love going down to Virginia Beach. Okay. Going up to Maryland, your neck of the woods, going up to Maryland for a Friendsgiving. Then taking a big trip in December to California.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Which part of California?
Los Angeles.
Ooh, bring a car. You're gonna be stuck in traffic.
Yeah, we're renting a car, and my mom has kind of already whispered that I'll be doing all the driving because we're both terrible drivers. So,
oh gosh, well, you're not. When you're in that type of traffic, you don't even have to be a good one. You just sit and move a little much. Yeah. Do you know which part of LA? You gonna be like maybe near the beach or in the city?
Downtown.
Downtown. Okay, so you're in the city. Yeah. I don't mind LA. It's just way too spaced out for me. That's my thing.
Yeah.
All right. As a pay me in plane tickets, we like to end off with some unique questions to kind of get you thinking here. So, if you had to get paid in plane tickets, which airline are you gonna get paid in?
I feel like you already know this.
I'm gonna guess Delta.
Delta. It's Delta. It's Delta.
Oh man, see, I'm a United baby. I can't
But
go over.
that United Polaris,
It's where it's
I have
at.
my eye on the United Polaris.
You know
But
what?
if I had to choose, I just feel like Delta has the routes. I feel like Delta has the routes. Like if you want to go somewhere, I feel like you can go anywhere with Delta. I feel like they have the most expansive routes.
You know, I could agree with that. Is there a Delta hub near you, or do you go up to Dulles or Reagan? Maybe not.
What I usually do is I usually have to fly to DC. So it's usually IAD or Dulles.
Okay, got you. Yeah. Okay, got you. All right, so Delta is your go-to.
Yes. I tried to work for Delta. Like
hey, those free flight perks.
Work history is story. Like when I was trying to switch careers, I was trying to, shift my transferable skills to airline logistics because I have supply chain background.
Right.
Yes, I can work in the airline logistics, which is true. But yeah, that's okay. Well,
they don't. I never thought that. I thought they did because they do have the most expensive tickets.
They don't have a lot of. The free tickets could potentially make up for the fact that you're losing tens of thousands of dollars in salary, but then the fact that you have to go into an office, you're like, no.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe in another life.
Do you have like a go-to debit card, credit card that you use when you travel or to rack up points?
Yes, definitely. My go-to is my Bank of America travel rewards.
Okay. Big fan of Bank of America. I get you. And it's good points on like all the purchases, all these advertisements they have for all these different types of purchases, eating.
I know nothing about points. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I know nothing about points. I don't know how to use them. I don't know how to redeem them. All I know is I'm trying to rack up all my points for my 30th birthday for my big luxury trip.
Got you. And then blow it all on that.
Yeah, then blow it all on that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I'm game for that one. I think I can guess this next one. Your traveling pet peeve.
Oh yeah, you already know.
I'm gonna go for the penny pinching. Do not penny pinch on the trip when you're with Tyla, okay?
A baller. I'm not a baller. I'm not the one buying the $350 bottle in the club. I'm not the one buying the section out. I'm not that girl, but I'm also not the one like, yeah, we're gonna have to walk 5 miles because the Uber is $10. It's like you gotta know in between. You gotta be in between. You gotta be in between. Like I'm the girl where I'll spring for convenience. Like, yeah, I'll spring for an Uber or spring, to make it more convenient. But also I'm not gonna be super over the top because I'm not there yet. So I mean,
okay. No.
This is what I do. This is what I do. Before I travel, I call it running the numbers. I run the numbers on all my credit cards. Where did I start off before I go? And then when I come back, where am I at when I come back? And I have a number in my head of where I think that credit card is going to be at when I get back. Not saying that I, am on a budget and I want it to stay beneath that number or whatever. I'm just giving myself an idea of how much I think this trip is going to cost because that's how much I budgeted for. Because with traveling, you budget. It's not penny pinching. You budgeted for it. When I went to Africa, I got back and I was like $600 under the number I had in my mind. So I was like, wow, I did great. I did an amazing job. But I'm not saying that I needed to spend more money or do more things.
Right.
I just like I did exactly what I wanted to. I was very comfortable. I didn't feel like I was over the top. I didn't feel like I was struggling. I was just doing what was good for me, which is why solo travel is so important, because I was doing what I wanted to do. If I was in a group, somebody would be like, she wasn't doing enough, or she was doing too much, or
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
everybody has their own thing, and when it gets in a group, it just gets so
You get amplified.
yes,
Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah. The penny pinching is not the wave when you're on a trip.
yeah.
When you travel, are you a light packer or a heavy packer? It sounds
Definitely, I'm an overpacker.
overpacker.
It's
Got
heavy.
you.
I'm the one with the tag on the bag that says this bitch is heavy.
Yeah, she came
Like
with everything.
I'm the one who has to get to the airport like 2 hours early, because not only am I haggling with the bag people, because they're like, ma'am, not only are your bags overweight, you're over our baggage policy. You can only have 2 bags, yet you have 4. So what are you gonna do? And I'm just like, I'm gonna pay you and you're gonna push it through. Like, what do you mean? So
I hear you.
I'm the one holding the line up because I got all these damn bags. And they're like, when I went to Africa for 3 weeks, 158 pounds of luggage.
Whoa. I've never, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever brought a bag that neared 20 pounds.
It was a total of two of my largest suitcases, a carry-on bag, and then a duffel bag and a fanny pack. So like
wait, say it again. So then you said two regular size cases.
2 of the largest sized suitcases.
Travel bags. Gotcha.
Yeah, 2 of your largest sized suitcases. Then I had the Osprey transporter, which is like a carry-on bag on your back.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The overhead. So that was like 40 pounds by itself on my back.
I see.
Then I had, when I went over there, I only had 4 bags. I had a fanny pack, I had the backpack, and then I had the 2. But when I came back, I had like 6 bags because I had.
Oh, you bought more stuff.
Yeah. But when I weighed everything going over there, it was 158. Coming back, I have no idea what it was.
Oh, those baggage fees were racked up.
Yeah, like, yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's confidential. That's for another day.
They hit me over the head. They're like, "Oh, you'll pay? Oh, yes, you will." I was like,
well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I thought there's a limit to how much a passenger could bring before it's like you got to call UPS.
I was at the station getting my luggage wrapped because she was like, "You can only have 3 bags. You have 4." So I was like, she was like, "Go over there and get the bag wrapped," because I had 2 25-pound bags. She was like, "You're gonna wrap these and turn them into 1 50-pound bag, and then you'll be at the minimum, but you're still gonna be over the weight limit." So I was doing crazy stuff. I learned so much.
You finessed the baggage way.
Yeah. So
I'm stoked on that.
Yeah.
All right. Are you gonna travel? When you travel to? Would you rather a city, a beach, or a mountain?
So I feel like that's really hard to choose. Because like I told you earlier, when I go somewhere, I always try to see all 3. But I'm always gonna start at the beach. Born at the beach, water sign, love the water, strong swimmer. I'm gonna go to the city next because I'm a Southern girl with the city charm. And then the mountains, love the terrain.
Okay, perfect. So beach, city, mountain. That's your preferred order.
Yes.
I dig it. Okay. Would you rather travel as a solo or as a group?
Right now is definitely solo.
Solo all day. That's the vibe we're on.
Solo. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And when you're going places, is it Airbnb or hotel?
Definitely hotel.
Got you.
Definitely hotel. Oh my God. It's so sad what happened to those 3 people. It was right here in Virginia Beach. They were from Virginia Beach. It happened in Mexico City. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh
Fill me
my
in.
God, Jelani, this is so sad. They were staying at an Airbnb in Mexico City. For some reason, the carbon monoxide detector was not up to code, and there was a carbon monoxide leak, and they all died.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Was
gosh.
like,
That's sad.
oh,
That's so sad.
and I wasn't trying to be cynical, but I was like, this is why I don't stay in Airbnbs. I was like, that's terrifying. And they were young. They were like 20s. And they were from Virginia Beach. That's where I was born. I was just like, that is terrifying. Terrifying.
Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, that's definitely the negatives of being Airbnb. It's not professionally managed. It's just somebody's place, and might be cheaper, might not, but you're still at, you're just at the helms of somebody else, and you don't know their organization at all.
Yeah,
that's very sad to hear. So yeah, definitely hotel. Now you might even edge me on to do more hotel trips.
yeah.
Are you a digital nomad or a PTO finesser?
I am definitely right now a PTO finesser. I'm the kind of girl that will be out of the office for 10 days, but will only take 1 day of PTO. Like, well, you see what I did there was I left on vacation day, and then I took my recharge day, and then this day was a half day, and it's just 1 day. So
perfect. Yep. Yeah. So hey, look, PTO finessing, it's an art. It's an art, man. People gotta
the
respect
goal,
it.
of course, is digital nomad, but
Yeah.
still working on that.
Yeah, that's at least a couple years down the line, and a couple contracts and everything got to get official.
Yes.
So props to all of the digital nomads, but teach us your ways if you can.
Yes.
All right, last one. So, if you had to go to one location for the rest of your life, where would it be? Can I bet Thailand or no?
No.
I lost all my chips right there.
I can't answer that.
Got you. It is a very tough question. I do I can't admit to that. It's a very tough one.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I can't.
Your place would be Earth. You go to Earth for the rest of your life.
Yes. Yeah, it's a riddle.
Wait, say it again.
Was that a riddle?
It could be, I guess. We'll make it that. We'll make it our riddle. Our riddle.
It's a riddle. Yeah, that's how you. Yes, the place would be Earth, so that way I could go everywhere. Yes.
Oh man! All right, I love it. I am so glad that we got to meet and talk, and we all got to hear your story. It's somewhat funny, some are tragic, and some are just plain good to hear. I appreciate you jumping on, Tyla, from the group chat.
I appreciate you too.
And I will catch you on the next one. All right.
Okay, sounds good. See you in the group chat.